Chef George is someone who is passionate about food. From a young age, I got in this business, probably working in diners up in Massachusetts. Shortly thereafter, I knew it was my calling, so I said, I'm going to go to culinary school. And after culinary school, it was a quick 2 years of culinary school, got a culinary degree, started working for Hilton Hotels Corporation for several years, relocated down here into the Central Florida area in '86. And then in '91, I started work for the Rosen Company. So it's somewhere 27, 28 years. Well, my earliest experience is being in my aunt's diner, okay, where we served the same customers every day. It had to be the mammoth muffins. It had to be the steak sandwiches. It had to be, the fish and chips on Friday, the New England clam chowder. I mean, that were some of the dishes that made a foundation when I said, okay, everything is made from scratch. We use the freshest ingredients. And that's pretty much what got me started. I kind of got involved in that, and I just kind of escalated up through my years. My true calling came when I was attending culinary school, and I was hired as a kitchen manager, and I trained under a woman chef, and she was from Italy, and introduced me to all the fine flavors of Italian food, and I really got my roots there. After graduating culinary school, I relocated. When I said I was at Hilton Hotels, I also enrolled in their management program, where I studied under a master chef for 2 years prior to getting a job. And my first job was at a casino in Atlantic City, New Jersey. My favorite dishes that I like to prepare are some of the old classics. But in this day and age, with everybody's different food allergies and all kinds of things, it's really at a point where you're relearning how to prepare some of these foods. And it's interesting, and it's a learning experience every day. So it could be from using different grains in a meal, or using light on the protein, more in the vegetables. So I think that's been a big transition throughout my career, seeing that. But I also love the old classics. The old classics Italian, the old classic French cooking. I have training in both of those areas. Must-have ingredient would be, it's got to be red meat. Unfortunately, that's not what everybody wants these days, but it's a must-have in my kitchen. And it's not a filet mignon. It might be a bone-in New York strip or a T-bone steak. We can do wonders with that here. The thing that a guest can expect when they come to a Land Remembered restaurant is you're going to be fine dining in a upscale steakhouse. All the finest quality meats, all the finest quality seafood, signature dishes throughout the menu, tableside cooking. We also have a big array of desserts that are prepared fresh daily in our kitchen. But first and foremost, it's one of the top steakhouses in the Orlando area, and it's something that I worked together early on, 12, 13 years ago, with Mr. Rosen, and his influence to make sure that we had the best of the best really, still to this day, has rung very strong in my mind. We use the finest ingredients, we spare no expense, and that's what I think has made this very successful. Calabella is mostly a regional, not a regional Italian restaurant. You could have different dishes from North and South Italy. You could also have something as simple as a lasagna. Okay, when a large convention comes into town, my first job is to work together with the catering specialists and their clients. A lot of times we will customize menus for all of our main clients. And in this day and age, there are a lot of food allergens and food allergies. So we got to keep in mind, if we're doing a party of 2,000 people, upwards of 10 to 15% may need special meals. So with that being said, we can prepare the function for 2,000 people, whether it be a plated meal, a banquet meal, but at the same time, we're going to make sure we're taking care of those guests with all the certain allergies. It's not uncommon for us to have back-to-back conventions that come in. And once we do that, we're a very busy place, and we average over $1 million a week in food sales. There are months that we get up to $2 million in food sales in 1 week. So once we're in full season and the month of January starts and going through the summer, we are extremely busy here at Rosen Shingle Creek. The way that we are able to be so successful and making sure all the food tastes good, everything in our kitchen is run through recipes, from soups to sauces to a specific protein and how it's marinated, how it's prepared, whether it be grilled, seared, or roasted. So it might seem difficult, but I've been at this for so long. So it's kind of like second nature. And I surround myself, a lot of my team members have been with me 20 plus years, and we know these recipes, we execute these recipes, and we execute the meals on a constant basis, really without any problem. So to most, it might be overwhelming, but to us, that's what we do. I consider myself a manager, but I love when things change. I love creating new ideas. I work together with my team on a daily basis, making sure that we're keeping up with all the food trends, making sure that our food looks very artistic. A lot of companies now are coming up with these new plating methods and things. And at Shingle Creek, we are at the forefront each and every day. It's kind of a story that I'll never forget. I mean, when I was hired with this company, it was between me and another chef, and the other chef got hired. And within 2 weeks of that chef being in the operation, I was called to duty, and which I accepted, and that was 28 years ago. So I find that as probably my most memorable time that I've ever done in the kitchen. But at the same time, I also had a daughter that got married here, and putting on her wedding was a big, huge memory. To see my team just perform for me was very touching. So one thing about me, I do things my way. And as long as it's within the parameters of Mr. Rosen, he's never once have said, you know what, Chef George, you need to calm down a little bit. You can't buy this, you can't do that. Another memorable thing, Mr. Rosen, when I sent him the purchase recs for all the different equipment that I needed to buy, he just stood there with his mouth open. He didn't realize how much this was going to cost. And I assured him that we need this in order to run this big operation. So as time passed, it was an inside joke between Mr. Rosen and myself. And since then, we've probably doubled the amount of the opening inventory of small wares just in this place. So it's quite an operation. It's not a food factory by any means. We take quality. We get a lot of repeat groups. They love our food, and we love preparing it for them. Myself and my whole staff, we're always getting accolades from our groups, from our catering staff, and number one, Mr. Rosen. We just had a charity event on Saturday night, and Mr. Rosen attended, and he said it was the best meal that he's ever had. So to the chef, that means so much to me.